Hi, I'm thinking you've all become so proficient with your blend modes and your layer work that we'd actually work on an image. This is one I just shot. It's in a dance studio, quick portrait. The hair wasn't really done, hot and sweaty. Shoot through an umbrella. That was it, simply. I'm going to copy it, and I can use the shortcut this time, Control J or Command J, and copy it again. And let's just switch the background off. You can see nothing's actually happening at all with this image. I'm going to just rename this one. I'm going to call it blur because we're actually going to put some blur in this, and we're going to use that with the blend mode over this background copy layer. So let's go across. Let's just click off that icon and click on that. See, nothing really has changed. I want to just change the name of the top layer. So we just need to get stuck in and think about what blend mode we're going to have. And I'm going to drop this into overlay first. So we can see that it really intensifies the colors, but it also adds contrast into the image. You've got dark shadows and brighter highlights. You've got the opacity slider, of course. Don't ever forget to play with your opacity sliders. Bring it backwards and forwards. Just check around with that. I'm going to leave it at 100% while we do the next bit, which is go across the filter, and we go down to blur, and we're going to put some Gaussian blur in this. You can see straight away that's on 15, quite blown out. Depending what size your image you're working with, I suggest you play around with this. Make sure you get your preview clicked on, of course, or else you won't be able to see what's happening to this blended blur layer. So I'm going to click OK on that. That's looking quite good. So you could leave it there. That's giving you a blurred portrait. There's so much more we can do with it, of course, and we can always think about the blend modes. Don't forget that all we did really was add a Gaussian blur layer to an overlay blend mode copy layer. So you've got your opacity. You can pull it backwards and forwards on the slider there on the right hand side, so you just mouse down it, drag it from one side to the other. Let's leave it round about there. Don't forget we've got the undo history as well. If you haven't got the undo history, go to your window and go to undo history and just drag it into your layer palettes, your palettes over there, and you'll have it available to you. Okay, because we might use it later on. And if I take that off there, that shows what the original looks like. That shows like a blurred layer in overlay at 59% opacity, looks like, which looks pretty decent. I'm going to flatten that, Control E, and just have that sitting over the back there. I can go back in history, Control Z, and I keep going back in history. Just keep hitting Control Z or Command Z. That'll just scroll back through my history. Let's just go and have a look at the history palette, which is just here. And you can see that I've scrolled up back through my history. Let's go back to merge down again, which is where we ended up before. And that's background copy is sitting over the background. As you can see there, nothing's really happening. Nothing's changing. Our background copy is in a normal blend mode. But let's have a look at some different blend modes and see what we're going to do. And so I'm going to go to darken blend mode. So that really is going to only affect the darkening from that background copy layer, and it's going to transmit it through to the background. So interesting. We can have the lighten one as well, and of course let's click on and off to see what's happening. It's only affecting the lighter areas and leaving the hair well alone. So you've got some kind of control now, adding lightness and darkness in. There's no mass involved in this. We're just really doing this with layers and opacity, which is working quite well. If I click off that, nothing really happens. You can see there it just really makes the background copy layer the dominant image in our screen. Darken again. You can see there it darkened the shadow detail in the hair. And don't forget we've got the opacity as well to play around with, and just mouse down it and just drag it backwards and forwards. And it's all to taste, of course. You might be working on a slightly different image or a completely different image. Let's have a look at lighten and same again. Now we've got a problem here because the lighten and the darken are on one layer, and the opacity as well is fixed to one or the other. So let's copy that background copy and call it background copy 2, and we can rename it, of course. And I'm going to call this one lighten. Very good. And I'm going to call this other one below it darken. So now we have flexibility in lightening and darkening the image underneath just by applying the blend mode. Let's make sure the blend modes are right for the names we've given them. And now we can have our opacity and tune the darkness and the lightness separately onto our background layer. So make sure that the light one's highlighted and it's in light and blend mode, and you slide around and you can fine tune how your image looks. So you're learning how to use these layers. We were learning about opacity. You're also learning about blend modes. So you got those little things to think about and work around. If it's a bit too complicated, this just work with one layer and build up your skills. Add another layer, and then play with that. Don't forget, most important thing to do really in all of this is to play around, to use those sliders. Let's see, if I just desaturate that, it looks a bit weird, but it's reversible. We just go Control Z, and we go back in our history states, and the dirty deed is undone, and we're back to normal again. So that's the background. If I add the darken, you can see there it's adding some darkening. If I add the lighten, we're adding some lightness to the flesh tones, and it's all flexible because we have our opacity slider, and we can add as much darkness as we want. We can add as much lightness. Don't forget we're on the lightness. It's in the skin detail. Okay, that's been me for on this quick one about skin and portraits. Until next time, of course, that's bye for now.